This next video that we're going to discuss is topics 4 and 5, translating expressions, equations, and inequalities, and solving equations. So number 23 says that the sum means add. So because sum means add, we're going to add two things together. The first one is going to be twice a number. A number is going to be represented as x, and because we have two of it, it's going to be 2x. And separates the two numbers. So it's going to be 2x plus 9 means equal. So I'm going to write the equal sign, negative 25. Number 24. 10 less than the quotient of a number in 3. Hey guys, sorry, I just realized that my microphone was turned off, so I'm going to go back up here. Okay, so here, less than was subtract, quotient was divide, the is equal. So once you get there, remember that when you have less than, that you have to write it backwards. Okay, that's why I had 10 minus here and the beginning, and it had to be switched. Okay, then we're skipping 25 and 26 because we didn't cover it. So number 27, when we're solving for x, or solving the equations, we're doing the order of operations backwards. Instead of doing parentheses first, we got to do all the addition and subtraction. So that's why I did the inverse of plus 11 would be minus 11 to both sides. The inverse of multiplication is going to be division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. So that I get x equals, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and negative 56 divided by negative 4, is going to be 14. So x equals 14. Number 28. I have 2 over 5 times a minus 9 equals negative 17. First thing I have to do is add 9 to both sides. So that I get 2 over 5a equals negative 8. from here, I have to multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of a fraction is just flipped. So I'm going to multiply both the left side and the right side by 5 over 2, so that my 5's and 2's cancel out. So I'm going to have A is equal to negative 8 times 5 gives me negative 40 divided by 2. This is not your final answer. You have to simplify. Negative 40 divided by 2 is going to give me negative 20. So A is equal to negative 20. Number 29. M is here, so I have to move the 5 first. In order to move the 5, I subtract it from both sides. So I'm going to have 2 equals negative 1 over 3m. Remember, the inverse of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which in this case is negative 3 over 1. So that my fractions will cancel out, and I'm left with m equals negative 3 times 2 is negative 6 over 1. Simplify that, and I get m is equal to negative 6. Number 30. This one you can do two ways. A lot of people would like to distribute the negative 2, so that's the way I'm going to solve it. If you want to learn the different way, then please raise your hand and I will try to help you. So my first step is to distribute the negative 2. So I'm going to do negative 2 times 3, which gives me negative 6w, and negative 2 times negative 5, which gives me positive 10 equals 15. Combine like terms. 19 plus 10 gives me 29 minus 6w equals 15. So I added these two numbers together. Now solve for w. Subtract 29 from both sides so that those cancel out, and I'm left with 6w equals negative 14. Divide by negative 6, and you get w equals 7 over 3. That is the simplified fraction. Number 31. Distribute the 8 and the negative. So I'm going to do 8 times 2, which is 16y, times 8 plus 5, which is 40, equals 12y. Negative 1 times 2, if you want to put a 1 right here, you can, is negative 2y. Negative 1 times 14 is negative 14. Combined like terms. Here are some like terms. I'm going to have 16y plus 40 equals 10y minus 14. Now, the next step is to get your y's on the same side. I'm going to subtract 10y from here. That way that my y's stay positive. I don't have to do another step at the end if I always keep my y's or my variables positive. So 16 minus 10 is going to give me 6y plus 40 equals, those cancel out, negative 14. Subtract 40, and I'm running out of space. And I'm going to get 6y equals negative 54. Divide both sides by 6. Y equals negative 9. Y equals negative 9. Number 32. Distribute the negative 4 and the 6 so that I get 6 minus 12p plus 8 equals 6 times 1, which is 6. 6 times negative 2p is negative 12p minus 1. Combine like terms. The 6 and the 8. 6 plus 8 is 14 minus 12p equals 5 minus 12p. Add 12p to both sides so that I get 14. Well, negative 12 plus 12 cancels out, equals 5. Well, negative 12 plus 12 cancels out. So I'm left with 14 equals 5. 14 cannot equal 5, therefore I have a no solution, or a 0 with a line through it. $33. I still have to distribute the negative. So I'm going to distribute the negative 9 and the negative, so that I get negative 9n minus 40, I'm sorry, not 40, 36 equals negative 5n minus 4n minus 36. So I distributed the negative and I distributed the negative 9. Combine like terms. I have none on the left side, but on the right side I have this. So I'm going to have negative 9n minus 36 equals negative 9n minus 36. So add 9n to both sides, and you get negative 36, because my n's on both sides cancel out, equals negative 36. If you get your answer to equal the same thing, then you are going to have infinite solutions. As your final answer. This symbol is also the infinity sign. On the next problem, it's a little bit different than the previous ones. This one has two fractions equal to each other. When you have two fractions equal to each other with variables, you can cross multiply. So I'm going to do 2 times x minus 1 equals 4 times x plus 8. Distribute the 2 and the 4, so that I have 2x minus 2 equals 4x plus 32. Get my variables to one side. This time I'm going to go the other direction because it will make my x's positive. Subtract 32 from both sides, and you're going to get negative 34 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, so that you get x equals negative 17. Number 35. Solve for c. Or solve c equals 2 pi r for r. So I'm trying to get the r by itself. So if I have c equals 2 pi r, because everything is being multiplied by r, I can just say, okay, I'm going to divide by 2 pi. So that my final answer is going to be r equals c divided by 2 pi. Those are literal equations. Literal equations. Just in case you need more help, you can also look on Khan Academy for extra videos. Number 36, solve for w. So this time, everything's not being multiplied. So I can't really do that step that I did on problem 35. So I'm going to have p equals 2l plus 2w. Because I'm trying to get this by itself, I first have to remove the 2l. To remove the 2l, I'm going to subtract it. There. From both sides. So I'm going to have p minus 2l equals 2w. So once you subtract the 2l from both sides, I now have to divide by 2. So that my final answer is going to be P minus 2L divided by 2 equals W. That all for... Oh, 2 more questions. 37 on the next page. Solve for B. So I'm solving for the little old b right here. When I have s equals ab squared divided by 3, if everything is being divided by a number, you first have to remove the division. So on this one, the opposite of dividing by 3 is going to be to multiply by 3. So then I'm going to have 3s equals ab squared, because the 3's cancel out. A is being multiplied to b squared, so I have to divide by a. So the a's cancel out. So I have 3s over a equals b squared. Remember, the inverse of something being squared is the square root symbol. So square root both sides. So my final answer is going to be the square root of 3s, not 8, 3s divided by a equals b. Okay. The next problem, 2038. I do not suggest distributing the 1/2 yet. It's going to make things complicated. If everything is being multiplied by 1/2, which is indicated by the parentheses with the 1/2 on the outside, I would go ahead and move it over. When I'm multiplying by the fraction, go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. It will make things easy. 2 times m is 2m equals. The 1's cancel out and the 2's cancel out. So I have x plus 1 and x plus 2. Because I'm solving for the x1, subtract x2. So that I get x1 equals 2m minus x2.